Good Thursday evening, everyone. This is Palmetto Sports Daily. Rick Henry in Columbia, joined by Kevin Bilodeau in Charleston and Carmine Jamay in Greenville. And starting today with some troubling news about a former Gamecock football star, former USC quarterback Connor Shaw, according to numerous reports that I saw flashing around on Twitter last night. Connor Shaw collapsed while either coaching or watching his 9-year-old son play football. He was attended to on the field. He was rushed to an hospital by ambulance. And the latest report we have is that he is in stable condition. We don't know what caused the medical emergency. But there's a lot of people around the state praying for Connor Shaw, even Clemson fans who acknowledge that he was one of the best USC quarterbacks they've ever seen. He is Carolina's all-time winningest quarterback and just an overall great guy. When I was going through my troubles with prostate cancer, Connor was one of many people who reached out to me. And so now I'm praying for him along with a lot of other people and just hope that Connor will be okay and continue to enjoy life and enjoy his family. Carmine?
Yeah, Rick, extremely well said by you as usual. And just a crazy situation. I mean, we don't know what caused his collapse, but we know it happened in Simpsonville, taken to Prisma right here in Greenville in an ambulance from, like you said, a Pop Warner football game. And at just 33 years old for Connor Shaw, it really gives you a realization that anything can happen to anyone at any time, even if they're an extremely healthy athlete. I mean, I'm only 31, and it just gives me that gratitude of, you know, each day waking up and you never know what's going to happen and making the best of it. But Kevin, I mean, you know, a legend in Gamecocks history, SEC history, 27-5 record as far as wins and losses, and you really just never know what can happen. So hoping for a quick recovery for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Wishing him all the best going forward and hopefully a speedy recovery for him in the upstate. As for action on the field, Rick, we got an update last night about Lenora Sellers' status as the Gamecocks get ready to take on Missouri on the road this weekend.
Yeah, he's listed as questionable in the SEC injury report that comes out every Wednesday evening. And so when you say questionable, and for me, it just leaves us with a lot of questions. Like, is he close to playing or is he close to not playing? And I'm going to have to go with not playing because you don't want to mess around with a concussion, even one that is considered minor, and put him out there too soon, or else he may be done for the year or really seriously do some damage for himself. So if Lenoir's isn't ready to go, head coach Shane Beamer told us on Tuesday that Luke Doty is next in line, and he would be the guy who would get the start against Missouri. He's a 6-year graduate senior, has plenty of experience playing multiple positions, and he has, gone through the SEC wars before playing quarterback. And here's Luke on his readiness to be able to play when his number is called.
You know, I think, you know, anybody we play in this league, it's going to be a challenge. It doesn't matter if it's, if it's Vanderbilt, Tennessee, Georgia, like everybody in this league is good. So I wouldn't say there's anything that's, just that stands out to me other than just being ready to go when my number's called. And I think that's something that I try to, I challenge myself every single day out of the week to prepare as if I am the starter, so that when moments, like Saturday happen, I'm ready to go.
Okay, now he replaced Sellers late in that first half, and he played the rest of the way. He had some good moments, and other times he looked like a guy who really hadn't been out there as QB1 in quite some time. If he has a week's worth of practice, seeing a lot of reps with the first unit, I expect him to play better if he has to. But still, it's not Lenore Sellers, so you'll be holding your breath, Gamecock Nation, if that's the case.
Yeah, and Rick, this really kind of goes back to what we were talking about yesterday. At what point does Sellers have to be during this week of practice for him to go in on Saturday and play. And I think we said yesterday he's got to be 100%. And if he's anything less than that, I don't think you put him in. Carmine, has your stance on that changed at all?
Yeah, and I was thinking about this more after we talked about it. I think Rick hit the nail on the head here. The fact that it's a head injury and a concussion is really the biggest concern. Like, let's say he had a sprained ankle and he could play through it, but a little less mobility. That would be one thing, to say he's at 75%. If you're at 75% with a concussion, now that's going to affect your long-term health potentially, but also affect your decision-making, ability to read defenses, your confidence. If you get hit one time, it could be worse. You get a second concussion. I mean, we saw that with Tua Tagovailoa for the Miami Dolphins a couple seasons ago, and he's stumbling off the field, and that's something you don't want to see as a football player, let alone a person. So I think my stance, good question, Kevin, has changed a little bit, because when it's a concussion, I don't think you want to mess with that at all, especially for the long-term health of the young man and long-term health, Rick, of this football team that still, I mean, this is a very important game, second game of the SEC schedule, but still has a long way to go after this game as well.
Very important point there, Carmine, by you. Like, you don't want him out there not being confident of all of his abilities. One of his strengths, his running game. You don't want him out there thinking like, oh, no. I don't want to get hit in the head if I take off running, or you get tackled and your head bounces off the ground. That is one way to get a concussion and aggravate a concussion. Kevin?
And I think a really important thing medically we should mention is that once you have a concussion, it is much easier to get another concussion shortly after that. So that means he's not going to have to just be thrown onto the ground like he was this time. He could just take, a forearm to the head or an elbow to the head from another player, and that could set this chain off again. And then all of a sudden, you're in this kind of zone where, every week we're doing this dance. Is Sellers 100% yet to play? Is he ready to play? Is he good enough to play? So I think at this point, I think the safe move would just be sit him out. Let Doty have the reins. Make sure Doty gets all the snaps the rest of today and tomorrow in practice, and make sure he's ready to go for Missouri, and get Sellers ready for down the line and the rest of this SEC schedule. Carmine, Cade Klubnik also been struggling early on as Clemson gets ready for another matchup this weekend.
Yeah, Kevin, that's right. And 1-2 record, of course, to start, not the Clemson that we're used to seeing. But Cade Klubnik was asked about the comparisons to just a couple seasons ago when he took over his first full year as the starting quarterback, 2023, and you guys will remember it well. They started off with that 4-4 record, and then Notre Dame came into Memorial Stadium with Marcus Freeman, him going all the way to the national championship game the next year. But they came in with Sam Hartman, the flowing locks, all the hype of a top 25 matchup. And Clemson knocked off Notre Dame, and then they won 4 more games in a row to finish on a 5-game winning streak, win that Gator Bowl, which is still the craziest fourth quarter I think I've ever seen. The Tigers scoring 28 points in the fourth quarter to beat Kentucky in the Gator Bowl. But there were some comparisons to that, and Cade Klubnik was saying he hopes that they can turn it around sooner than they did a couple seasons ago, because it took until 4-4 to really get that momentum going on the season. But he was also talking about a topic we talked about on the show here yesterday, which is the revenue sharing, the NIL, and how he's handling the added pressures of that money coming in with performance not quite going out. And here's what Cade said.
Yeah, I didn't grow up dreaming to play college football to go make money. That wasn't me. I grew up dreaming to play college football to go play college football and run out in a stadium of 100,000 fans, and that's what I dreamed of. And I feel like I'm a guinea pig in this whole NIL era. I'm not messing with any of that stuff. Anytime close to the season, that's all in May and June. Like, that doesn't affect me, or even January. So, yeah, I mean, it's part of the game now. It's not necessarily that I asked for. It's just kind of something that's happened, and so I don't feel like I should be, held responsible for that, I guess, if you know what I mean.
And Cade brings up a good point there, because, it was just kind of a culmination of the NIL, the revenue sharing that, coalesced and came at the same time as him going into college football, and of course benefiting off that big time with some paychecks that he never even thought of as a kid. But Kevin, what do you think as far as Cade's comments there, And I think he sounds like he's doing it smartly, not even coming close to the football season with the NIL and revenue sharing deals that he might have to strike, especially with the NIL angle, and keeping the main thing as far as during football season.
That is pretty smart, man. If Klubnik doesn't want that money that he's been earning, he's welcome to make a sizable donation to the Kevin Bilodeau Foundation that'll help me go to WrestleMania for year after year. So, Kate, I'll give you an address for that to send that check. So anytime you're willing to do that, I'm ready to go, Rick.
Hey, Kevin, Carmine, I have to admit, Cade has one of the coolest looks of any college athlete in his pregame walk. I mean, the sunglasses, the hair, looking like Don Johnson, the sunglasses, very cool. But when he says that, hey, he didn't grow up, he grew up wanting to play college football, not, even thinking about getting paid. But that's the reality. It's the world we live in. And certainly, he may not have been thinking about it, but now he is. And there is added pressure that comes to it. And I'm sure he probably hears some catcalls from the crowd about, hey, you're making all this money. You need to be playing better. But, hey, good luck to him and everyone else in college athletics dealing with this added pressure. All right, that's going to wrap up the opening segment of Palmetto Sports Daily. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Palmetto Sports Daily. We move back off the field in college football, where the NCAA announced yesterday afternoon that the college football sport is going to be moving towards a single transfer window coming up next season. Now, the previous couple years, they've had multiple transfer windows, one usually in early or late December, and then another one after spring ball is over, usually sometime around mid-April. That spring one is going to be going away. It looks like the new one is going to be sometime in January. They haven't set official dates yet. They're talking about January 2nd through the 11th. Nothing has been voted on yet to make that date official, but it looks like that's what they're leaning towards at this point. So, guys, let's talk about this. Are you in favor of one transfer window? Do you think it's better to have two? And I think the big thing I want to talk about is what is the optimal date for this one transfer window to go into? Let's start with you, Rick.
This is a subject I've talked to Shane Beamer a couple of times about how the transfer portal, NIL, it makes college coaches even more difficult. You look at December, where you have a December signing period for high school athletes. You've got the transfer portal. And if you're in a bowl game or you're in the college football playoff, you've got practice to think about. And so they needed something to be taken off their plate. And with the portal, you have to recruit your own players again to make sure that you can retain them. And also the craziness of having a spring transfer portal, kids going through spring practice, playing in the spring game, then, hey, I'm jumping into the portal. So I'm in favor of it. As far as dates, they got to get everything worked out, because if you're going to transfer it to another school, you've got, okay, what's the date to register, get enrolled in classes, all of that to work out. Carmine?
Yeah, and I think you guys make some great points. I think it was absolutely preposterous to have the early transfer portal in that December month where, like you guys said, you're going through bowl games, college football playoff, and not only for the players, but also for the coaches. I mean, how many coaches did we see leave their programs or have to commit early to another team in order to get their coaching job in place and then say, oh, well, the December transfer portal window's open now. I'm leaving my team to go here so I can recruit all these guys who are transferring in the December transfer portal window to my team because they know I'm going to be the coach at this new place. So that was ridiculous from the player and coach perspective. Hopefully the transfer portal window is moved to, like you were saying, Kevin, they're thinking about January, mid-January, maybe even early February, so that you don't get into a situation like Rick was saying where, you go through a spring practice and now all of a sudden you're transferring without getting that spring ball and those reps with your new team. So I think the January, mid-January, and I know classes, with the second semester starting, I think that was the whole reason that the December transfer portal window was where it was, so that you can get those classes figured out for the second semester of college. But hopefully right after the national championship, early to mid-January is when they can make this and hopefully make that happen for the academics part of the athletes as well, Kevin.
Well, guys, let's not pretend that academics has anything to do with this. I'm sure that the window is going to have nothing to worry about as far as getting these guys signed up for Physics 101 or whatever classes they're going to be taking once they go to the school for however long they're going to be there, probably a year or two. The thing that worries me about this early January timeline, and one of the notes that I've seen is that, you know, if your team is still playing in the college football playoff, you're going to be given a window that comes open right after your team is eliminated. But that still puts those guys behind the eight ball when they're transferring. Because if the window is open for everyone else, say you're a quarterback at Ohio State, you're the backup, and you're looking to leave after this season, but you have to wait until Ohio State gets knocked out. Meanwhile, all the other teams that are looking for quarterbacks, they can jump on anyone else who's already in the portal. So that kind of puts them at a disadvantage, and then they have to decide, do I want to leave the team in the middle of a playoff run and worry about next year, or do I stick it out and limit my options for the following year? So I think either way, that's not a great position to put them in. That's why I think Carmine is right. I think end of January, it's got to be after the national championship game for everyone. But even at that point, you know, guys are going to be, before the window opens, it's going to be talking and there's going to be phone calls, and there's just no perfect way to go about this going forward. We've got more to talk about here on Palmetto Sports Daily coming up right after this.
And welcome back to Palmetto Sports Daily. We've had some good discussion on college football in this show. Right now, we're going to move over to minor league baseball. A lot of excitement in Columbia over the past week or so because the Columbia Fireflies, they had a chance to win the first professional baseball championship for a Columbia team since 1998. And they were playing the Hillcats from Lynchburg, Virginia. They had a winner-take-all Game 3 of the championship series. The starting pitcher for the Fireflies, Kendry Churio, 17 years old, but he gives up a 2-run homer to the second batter of the game, and the Fireflies fell in a 2-0 hole. They cut it to 4-2 with a solo home run there in the fourth inning. And so they go to the ninth inning. They are down by 4 runs. And, wow, the Hillcats scored 4 in the top of the ninth. They win it 8-2, excuse me. And that was it. The Fireflies coming up short, losing the championship series 2-1, but hey, it was a great season. First time ever making the playoffs, and they come within 1 game of winning a championship. Here's the Fireflies manager, David Novarita.
Yeah, I love the energy out of our group. We fought to the end, and it's came up a little bit short, but it's been an unbelievable group, and the fight in us has been awesome. And the players really created it. I was just along for the ride, so it was really cool to be a part of it, and this has been a really special group.
Okay, first time ever making the playoffs. They make it to the championship round. And so I'll ask you, Kevin, how much excitement do you think this will generate among the fan base? Because you never know what the roster is going to look like for the next year, especially with a Class A minor league baseball team.
Yeah, and that's something we've seen here in the Low Country with the River Dogs after they won championships in 21, 22, and 23. It's hard to keep that momentum going during the offseason because, you know, the guys, I'm sure by this morning, they were probably in their trucks, in their cars, and driving back home. So you're not going to see a majority of these guys in Columbia ever again. So it's really more up to the organization to kind of keep this momentum going over the course of the offseason and get the fans excited and buying tickets early on before next season gets going, Carmine.
Yeah, and at least it gives them confidence that, hey, we can produce a winner here. You know, like the Spartan Burgers we were just talking about this week. Another minor league baseball situation, first-year team, and they go all the way to the championship series. They lose it, but when you're winning, people are like, oh, I'm a winner too. I'm coming here. I'm getting my burger, getting my dog. I don't know about the dog sales at the Burgers place. That's a little rivalry there. But, at least, Rick, it proves, hey, we can generate a winner here, and if we did it this year, why can't we do it next year? And buy your tickets now to see if we can.
Yeah, there was a lot of excitement for the two games this week. It was great to see it because I know, Carmine, that you've been to this stadium. It's one of the best minor league parks in the entire country, in my opinion. And so to see an excited fan base there is something you would like to see when they take the field next year. But, hey, everyone get those rosters ready to find out who the new players will be. We'll be right back with more Palmetto Sports Daily.
Closing out Palmetto Sports Daily with the Panthers small preview, hosting the Atlanta Falcons in the Panthers home opener this weekend, looking for their first win of the season after starting 0-2. Here's head coach Dave Canales about the theme of the Panthers program as well.
I think it's just a matter of just keep pounding, keep working through it, keep taking the coaching, and the opportunities will find you. For all the guys, remember who you are. Remember what you've been at your best, and you'll do that again. And that's this type of self-talk that you have to have and believe that if I continue to work, I'll do that again.
So Dave Canales there with the keep pounding mindset. We heard Clemson coach Dabo Sweeney with the all in, using his motto. Shane Beamer going away from his motto of as well. No, just kidding. That's just his catchphrase. But Rick, do you think the Panthers will get it back on track this weekend?
Keep pounding. We've seen the Panthers pounding for the past 3 seasons. The door isn't budging. So, no. Kevin?
Did he just look on the wall and see keep pounding as he was walking into the interview room and say, I'm going to focus everything on this? Because I can't imagine he couldn't come up with anything better to say than keep pounding. No, they're going to get pounded this weekend. How about that? That's going to wrap it up for Palmetto Sports Daily. We will see you back here on Friday. Don't forget about our locks of the week coming up tomorrow as well. I'm certainly not picking the Panthers. We will see you back here on Friday.